coming on to talk about sports and more specifically MLB from CBS Sports. He covers the MLB, Danny the Eddie.
Somebody's going to beat the Cleveland Browns this year. Is it going to be another opponent, or is it going to be the Cleveland Browns? That's their storyline, and the season will answer that story.
Well, my prediction preseason, because we always have to do that at ESPN, give us your predictions, make us look like idiots, was Astros and Nationals, with the Astros winning. Given the fact that both those teams still look like they're in the mix for that eventuality, I'm going to stick with that, Astros and Nationals, with Astros winning.
Play action is going to take himself around the left big hole 40, 35, 30, cuts it upfield, spin move 20, action Jackson 10, and dancing into the end zone. Touchdown Ravens. Halftime launching it down the middle of the field, called at the 20, Sammy Watkins 10, walking into the end zone, and the Chiefs are going to be going to Miami.
What's going on, Sportscaster, YouTube, and beyond? Thanks for watching this video. I'm Yosef Macinter, and I hope you're having a great day as I welcome you into the inaugural episode of the Ravens vs. Browns Week 14 Deep Dive, where I'll go through every play. I talk about what happened, why it happened, should it have happened, who messed up, who excelled, and a whole lot more. This was absolutely the best game of the regular season, and I think it was the best game of the playoffs as well. Playoff implications, stars making big-time plays making stars, and of course, a dramatic Hollywood ending. But before we get to the film, please check out my podcast, Sports with Yosef. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That is Sports with Yosef. So please make sure you check out all of the episodes there. Please check out all my videos on Sportscaster, sportscaster.com, sportscastr.com. Check out all my articles on Flurry Sports, Tackler, Rocky and Meisty, and Sportscaster News. I know, it's a lot of different sites. It's hard to check them all. Well, I made it easy for you by creating a website, yosefm613.com. It's got all of my podcasts, all of my articles, a whole bunch of my videos, and best of all, it's got a place on the homepage where you can subscribe to get email updates every time I post new content. So that is yosefm613.com, yosefm613.com. And again, you can really subscribe right on the homepage to get email updates every time I post anything new. If you're on Twitter, please, I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a follow trying to grow my Twitter. You're the key. My handle is yosefm613. Again, yosefm613. And with that said, let's get to the game. Ravens-Browns, game of the year. And here we go. And let's head to Cleveland, Ohio, where the Browns took on the Ravens in this game. Coming in, you've got these teams, they played each other in week one. Browns, they got dominated by the Ravens 38-6. But Browns, at this point in the season, they had the advantage on the record books. They were 9-3, Ravens 7-5 coming in. And Ravens in a must-win scenario to basically make the playoffs, and it ended up that they did have to win out to make the playoffs. The presumption was they would have to win out to make the playoffs, and this was the game that they had to win. There was a chance they could drop a game and still make it, and in the end they could not. But this is a huge game for the Ravens. Ravens got pretty much all of their players back, except for Dez Bryant from the COVID list. In the previous week, Bryant was scratched right before the Cowboys game. He was not happy about that. But so you've got the Ravens. They had so many players on the COVID list. It really delayed the game against the Steelers, which, it was pushed off, I think, from Thursday. I lost track of the amount of times it was pushed off. It was pushed off 3 or 4 times. Eventually, they played the game. Ravens played with backups and actually almost won the game. But Ravens have all their players in this one. And the Ravens, they got all their players, players started coming back against the Cowboys. Ravens handled the Cowboys in Baltimore, 34-17 win. But the Browns the previous week, wow, what an offensive game for them. 41-35 against the Titans, a team that did end up making the playoffs. And and that was a very impressive win by the Browns. A couple of key guys not here in this game. No Ronnie Stanley, he got injured against the Steelers in like week 6. No Nick Boyle, he got injured up in Foxborough Sunday Night Football. No Austin Hooper, the tight end who the Browns signed in the offseason from the Falcons. Didn't really do all that much. He's out with a neck. Wyatt Teller, he had been questionable all week. He will be playing, or did play. No Denzel Ward, no Odell Beckham Jr. It's two guys who did play in that week 1 matchup who will not be playing. I would say tonight, but it's not. We're well after the fact. 34 degrees up in Cleveland. It feels like 23. Frigid football. AFC North football. Playoffs on the line. This is a huge game. If the Browns win, they've got a shot at an AFC North title because the Steelers started in 11-0 and then dropped a couple. So they're back in the mix for a AFC North title. Ravens, they're out of the AFC North picture, but if they win out and they need one game, they need a little bit of help to make the playoffs. But it starts with winning out and starts with a win. So with that said, this is the coach's film view. So most of you are probably not going to be familiar with watching a game from this vantage point, and I'm definitely not familiar from calling a game from this vantage point. So we'll see how this goes. Opening kickoff up in Cleveland. You can see the fans heading in to their seats. Ravens won the toss, defer Justin Tucker, most accurate kicker in NFL history. He is on to kick this one deep. With Ernest Johnson back, and here comes the kick. It'll be taken at the 3, and it will be a 16-yard return tackle by Miles Boykin. Let's take another look. And we will be taking many looks at every one of these plays. So, I'm no special teams expert. It's actually one thing I would like to learn more about. But it's all about lane assignment. You see guys coming down this gap, this gap, this gap, this gap. Every gap, it's about playing your gap. That is what special teams is all about. So you see Ernest Johnson settling under it. This is a 16-yard return. And he's going to slip a tackle here from Justice Hill. This was a nice job, I should say, by Johnson. And he really didn't get all that close to making a tackle, because you can see right here Donovan Peoples-Jones coming out making the block. That's why he's there. You can see Hill starting. Let's get my cursor here. Hill's gonna go like this and then back around. And did I lose? Nope. I didn't even need to really go that outside, as number 36, Kevin Johnson, came more towards the middle. And Peoples-Jones made the block. Ernest Johnson then going up the field. Miles Boykin making the tackle. Anthony Levine Sr. helping out as well. Now, Stephen Carlson right here. Where's he going? You've got Peoples-Jones who takes the free guy coming on this side. You would think he would want to go to Miles Boykin. He doesn't. He just lets Boykin come. And that's going to be a mistake. It looks like, it's likely designed. Normally you try to say, okay, we're either going to try to, let's get this arrow, you're either going to try to go up the middle, or you're going to try and get to the sideline. Those are your basic 3 return options. So it looks like they're probably trying to go to the left side, kind of off the left center. And you also kind of go where the ball is, and just Carlson just let Boykin make the tackle shy of the 20-yard line. Great kick coverage by the Ravens. Whole bunch of guys coming free. Not what you're going to want to see from Cleveland there. So not the strongest of starts up in Cleveland. So with that said, let's keep this show rolling, we can finish watching out this play, and let's head to the next one, where the Cleveland offense can take the field for the first time. Okay, first down and 10. For the Cleveland, they're going to mark the ball on the 19-yard line. So you see all this information, a whole bunch of information up here. Now, one thing I was struck by when I went through and took some notes on this game, this is actually some of the most inaccurate scoreboard job up here that I really have ever seen. It was very, very inaccurate, and it really actually bothered me a lot. But that is a scoreboard, so I'm not saying trust it. All plays display, it looks pretty good. Actually, it looks like nope. All right, looks good. All right, Browns offense coming out here. You right off the bat, what are we going to be seeing? You've got this single back right there. There's a bad graphic. Looks like two receivers there, two tight ends there. So this is going to be the 12 personnel. 12 personnel. So it's one running back, two tight ends, and then you just can assume the number of receivers unless it's not. And if it's not, I'll tell you. So you got these offensive linemen right over there. Ravens are coming out defensively. We can give this pull this forward just another second or two right before the snap, as they're going to bring Jarvis Landry in motion. So you see he's being followed by, that looks like Marcus Peters. So Marcus Peters following Landry in motion. So right off the bat, what do we know? Man coverage. Because if someone follows, it's almost always man coverage unless their defensive coordinator's got some scheme up his sleeve. And it's hard to do because then you've got a vacated zone where the guy followed. So it doesn't really work to not bring someone over. You pretty much will always bring a person over if you're going to be doing that. So next step is going to be, so you see Ravens, they're defensively in a base package, not heavy in the secondary, just standard 4 guys, 2 corners and 2 safeties, one of whom is right up here. It looks like he's taking the tight end. So you've got the 2 tight ends set. Now you've got a couple of options here. Well, first off, what's happening here? Let's just watch this. Let's just watch this play and see what happens before we take a look. Where play action by Mayfield, pumps and hit as he throws, incomplete. I think he's looking for maybe Nick Chubb or maybe Jarvis Landry. All right, so first off, play action. This is the number 1 rushing attack in Baltimore, the number 2 rushing attack in Cleveland. A lot. Now, what that rushing attack does, it's going to set up the play action. It's going to set up teams really being able to try to take advantage in that passing game and you're going to really be able, these linebackers, they'll come up on when you do this. Now, the linebackers, you'll see right here, come up a couple of steps and then they'll attack their responsibilities here. So, play action. Both tight ends are staying into pass block, so 7-man protection. If you're going to do 7-man protection, well, first off, against the Ravens, it's a little bit different. Ravens, they blitz more than any team in the league. And you're going to sometimes need just a little bit more protection just to be able to deal with that. So that's the first thing. The other part is you're not only going to want to try a deep shot if this is almost max protection. Max protection is 8. But, you've got 7 guys blocking, and you see he's still staying in here. Both these guys are staying in. They're not releasing and trying to get out, although I'm not sure Carlson would be able to release on Matthew Judon. And that's actually probably Harrison Bryant. Yeah, that's Harrison Bryant. So Mayfield, let's take a look from his perspective. Looking over the middle initially. So he's looking. This is his initial read. It looks like it's 1, and then it'll be 2. Again, it's a 2-man route pretty much. And Marcus Peters, he sees Baker Mayfield looking over the middle. Marcus Peters, he's a gambler. That's what he does. Big play, boom or bust. And here it's going to be, it ended up being a boom, or ended up being kind of neutral. although not because of Marcus Peters. So I have to think that this pass target is towards Jarvis Landry. Marcus Peters beat him badly. There are two things here. Marcus Peters, he's looking at Baker Mayfield, and initially, what it kind of looks like is that Landry's going to be going towards this middle of the field here. There's a lot of room here. One of these receivers is. You see, I mean, that's where Mayfield's initially looking. He's going to pump here, and again, that also helps get Marcus Peters. Mayfield, he's done his film study. He knows he can get Marcus Peters sometimes to get away from coverage, and he does. Nice cut by Landry, speed out. And, well, he's wide open. Issue is the pressure. And you can take a look at Marlon Humphrey on Rashard Higgins. That's pretty good coverage. He probably could have tried to sneak it in there, but again, I mean, it's just Marlon, when Mayfield's initially looking at it, it's shutdown coverage. You've also got a safety over the middle, so you're going to have to be careful where you put the ball just because you've got Deshaun Elliott back there. So what happened in the backfield that caused, and then Nick Chubb escaped, but what happened in the backfield? Because right off the bat, you see Ravens, they brought the blitz. Well, let's switch to this view. So post snap, let's go to, I guess, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say boards on Chubb, which is why I'm only saying 6. Maybe. No, it looks like Queen is. I don't think, did I count Queen? I did not. I didn't even see him, to be honest. So we've got Patrick Queen on Chubb. We've got Chris Board here. Looks like he's coming in. You got to wonder, is Chuck Clark's probably designed to play coverage here, but because his guy's staying in blocking, he's going to go in. That's what you have to think. So right off the bat, let's take a look. You got a rookie here, left tackle, Jedrick Wills Jr. And strong start to the season for Wills. Not a strong start to this game. Pernell McPhee just absolutely gets, right off the bat, look at this. We can watch it. It's slow without me controlling the mouse here. Pernell McPhee, Jedrick Wills, fake outside. Wills, look how far he jumps to the outside. McPhee's right by him right away. And at this point, it's just pure rocket science, pure physics. He's running right into Mayfield and forces a bad throw. Where Mayfield does not see him coming. Or maybe because if he knew he was coming, you're not pump faking here. So he or maybe he felt him at the very end, but it feels him too late. I don't think he saw him at all. So really not great pressure feeling or pocket management, I guess you could say, by Baker Mayfield. So that's an issue right off the bat. You'll see. Let's take a look at the rest of the offensive line. Anything else happening? Got a double team right off the bat here on Derek Wolfe. Although Batonio, he sees Queen step in for a second, so he'll step off that double team. Wyatt Teller versus Brandon Williams. Teller holding his own. Matthew Judon, Harrison Bryant. Look at these two guys go. And on the right side, Bryant's doing a pretty good job blocking. Calais Campbell versus Jack Conklin. Well, this one is Campbell's matchup. Let's take a look here. So he's going. This is going to be going outside, and then he just cuts back on him. He sees that. Look, Batonio's going to overextend here. He was able to push him off his body, and then he keeps on pushing him out. So he'll get free at the end. And just a bad. A great route by Landry. Great job by Pernell McPhee. I think Mayfield needs to do a better job reading the pocket. And I know it's a blind side. I know it's the hardest place to get a read and figure out what's happening. I also know that the great ones make it happen. Browns have got a contract situation coming up here for Baker Mayfield. And they're going to have to figure out what they want to do with that, what they want to do with his contract. A huge part of his contract is going to be, if they want to give him a contract, and that part of that decision is absolutely going to be, how confident are you in Baker Mayfield? And from that, obviously it's one play. Not a great job there by Mayfield. He needs to feel that pressure and get rid of the ball just a little bit sooner. Mayfield, he held the ball last season longer than any other quarterback in the league. A lot of it is off of the play is because of the play action. Browns run a lot of play action, and that does make you hold the ball longer. But again, he holds the ball longer than any other quarterback in the league. That's not a good sign because that will let the defenses start to come home. Let's just watch this play one last time, and we'll watch it from the back side view, and we can take it off of slow. So again, you see the single back here. Defense is shifting. Landry coming in motion. Peters on Landry. Play action. And incompletion for the first offensive play of this game. Let's go to number 2. 2nd down and 10. Cleveland ball. Yeah, still throw 19. And spreading this one out just a little bit more here. You'll see Harrison Bryant top of your screen. Going out wide left. Let's pause this right now. So you got, looks like Harrison Bryant out here, David Njoku right there. 2 wide receivers look like Higgins, and looks like that is Jarvis Landry. And it is 12 personnel, so Chubb still in the backfield. So again, pretty much same personnel. Looks like on the Ravens side, it might still be the same as well. So a couple of interesting notes here, just right off the bat. Same personnel, but you're gonna, instead of the single back, you've got this Mayfield. So he's back here. So this is what you will call the shotgun formation. Back to his right, he sends trips receivers, 3 receivers right, and then tight end wide left. This tight end's covered here by Chuck Clark, press coverage, and then so Landry here is in the slot. And so what that means is going to, and so he's inside of this guy, of the receiver out here, which is Higgins here. Marlon Humphrey, he's going to be the guy we're going to see a lot tonight, throughout the rest of these episodes. He'll be taking the guy in the slot a lot. That's something he's able to play both outside and inside. It's a very rare skill to be able to do that. It's slot cornerback is very hard because you've got to be able to just, you can have the tight ends coming out here. You can have another receiver coming in. You'll deal with linebackers. You'll deal with outside linebackers. You could be dealing with a lot here. And you just have to be small and shifty. Ravens slot cornerback Tavon Young, highest paid slot cornerback in the league. He's consistently injured. Got injured this season in Houston week 2. And Humphrey's been stepping up and playing the slot. So that's where that's going. So that's, I guess, the initial formation. And let's see what happens on this play. Ravens showing blitz here off the edge. Don't bring it instead from somewhere else. Delayed screen to Njoku. Racing up the field. A pickup of 20 yards. Where someone made the tackle. And I'm not sure who. We'll get another look at that momentarily. So, what's happening? So, screens. Let's just slow this one down here. First off, Ravens showing blitz here. So, if you normally bring 4, you might sometimes bring 3 guys. You bring a 5th, that's a blitz. Ravens, they, like I said, they blitz more than any team in the league. So, show blitz. Nope, Judon's backing up. But what you do have is this guy right there, who no one's blitzing. Ravens fake blitz, but this guy, Chris Board, he's going to keep on creeping up here on David Njoku. And at the last second, he senses there's a screen, but it's too late. He's being blocked. So, the way screen concepts work, just really quickly, is you're going to send some of these offensive linemen out to, let's go to this view. It'll be better, easier to see. You have offensive lineman block for a second, and then you see Conklin. You see 2 or 3 guys going out and blocking, and then you'll have Jarvis Landry down the field blocking, and it opens up a big. It can open up a big hole. This play, big play, and one of the ways you're going to be able to beat the blitz is on the screen. And that's Matthew Judon. Look at that effort by Judon on the tackle. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But let's just head back here. So I guess we'll go to this view. Right off the bat, let's take a look at the line first on this one. Looks like we got a stunt here. Nope. So Derek Wolf, he's lined up against Batonio. Wills doesn't have anyone to block here because he thinks Judon's coming, but he doesn't. So then he's just standing there. Wills is literally just standing there, not sure what to do. Batonio, Wolf does a decent job on him. Brandon Williams, they just let him go. As you see, the center, J.C. Treader, going out to block. You see right tackle going out to block. I think Batonio wants to get out there also, but he's kind of against Campbell, so maybe not. Maybe he's just trying to seal this edge right here against Calais Campbell. And Mayfield, one of the easier passes in the ball game is a screen. He does a good job with it, though. You see also Conklin pushing Chris Board. His job is to cover David Njoku right here. Right here is where he sees what's happening. He starts to sense the screen, unlike Pernell McPhee. But at that point, it's too late because Conklin is blocking him, and Njoku makes a catch, and away he goes. All the way out. And let's take a look at some of the receiver blocking on this one. So right off look how far, first off, the receivers are all released. They don't start blocking right away. You start blocking a little too early, we could have a pass interference issue. Now they start blocking. Landry on Humphrey. He shut him down. Higgins getting in the way of Peters right here. Clark's did get free there at the top against Harrison Bryant. But at this point, it's not going to matter. Now, look at Matthew Judon here. Let's take a look where Matthew Judon lines up. Matthew Judon is going to start the play right there. He's going to end up right there. More like right there, to be honest, on the field. But on the TV screen, that's where he'll end up. And I need to switch back to this mode. And let's just take a look at Judon. We can right here, Judon, following him with the mouse. Look how far he's running on that play. That is not the normal. That's just very, very good effort. And by Judon, he's running across the entire field. Not every team has guys who do this. Judon, he got signed by the Patriots in the offseason. This is very, very versatile. We'll talk more about that later, but very, very good effort here by the outside linebacker. So, a couple of other notes. Let me try to find him. J.C. Treader. You see, so he's the center right. He's right here. Breaks free, out in front to block. And look at this block on Deshaun Elliott. Let's go through this one more time. Great block on Deshaun Elliott. Just coming up the field and just takes Elliott out of the play. And look how much extra yardage that's going to get him. And I'll be honest, if Judon doesn't make the tackle, Njoku had a long way to run. So from a pass design concept, I really like this because sometimes you'll have your receivers run shorter routes, but every receiver, they're just running straight down the field. And that's creating all this space here. Right there. Look how much space is created just by having these two receivers just run down the field. No one's here. All Njoku has to do is catch the ball and then start running, assuming Chris Board doesn't blow this play up in the backfield. Because that's the Ravens' only hope here. It would have been nice if Pernell McPhee saw the play just a little bit earlier. We saw him come free at Baker Mayfield, but coming free on a screen is not the important part. It's making sure you don't come free and you actually get in that passing lane between the quarterback and the target. And we're going to see a lot of screens throughout this game by this Browns offense. Like I said, this is how you beat the blitz. Why? Because if the blitz is coming And let's, I guess, go to this view. And you've got all these guys in the backfield, and you've got, let's just say you've got another couple of players in the backfield as well. Well, if you think about it, how much room is he going to have out of space? Because he's going to have the receiver's going to have blockers in space. He's going to have a lot more space to work with because he has blockers in space. And remember, they're letting the defenders come free because the quarterback, he's going backwards. Mayfield, he's retreating on this one. He's throwing off his back foot. It doesn't matter. It's a 15-foot pass, maybe 20-foot pass. And it's just easy catch and then run. And Ravens, they blitz more than any team in the league. This is how you beat the blitz. And this is what the Browns will be doing a lot of tonight. 20 yard gain, 22 yards after the catch because the pass was a little bit behind the line of scrimmage. When caught, let's take a look one last time. Mayfield, okay, so you saw that audible. So he started out under center, moving back into the shotgun and taking the snap. Again, play action with that running game. And then David Njoku doing his thing down the field onto the 39-yard line. First down and 10 now for the Browns. And let's just stop it right there. Browns back under center. Okay, so for the first two plays, Browns went 2 tight end sets. This is 3 tight end sets. All 3 tight ends are right there. Right inside, I guess I'd call this a trips bunch in. And then you got Nick Chubb here in the backfield, Jarvis Landry. Ravens, they're still in their base defense. They're still going for in the secondary. And let's take a look with what happens. Right here, Mayfield sees something. He's going to audible. Check into the run. Run to that strong side of the 3 tight ends. He'll get 3 on the play. Tyus Bowser and Calais Campbell with a stop. And for run plays, it'll be much easier to dissect. Up here now, you know what? Maybe he's not audible. I think he's actually just trying to get the crowd to settle down. So let's take a look. Stretch play. Make your read and then just go. Okay, so into the ins and outs of this play. Right off the bat, you see zone. I mean, these guys are just gonna block the guys in front of them. Whoever it is, whoever's in front of you, block them. Trying to get to the outside here. There's just no one. So there's no one in front of. You see this Ravens defense up front. It's actually kind of sparsely populated. They're not showing blitz right off the bat. You got Pernell McPhee on that right edge. Well, he's going to be almost useless on this play. You'll see they'll just likely ignore him. Yep, they just ignore him because he's so far out. He's just not going to impact a play to the opposite end of the field on a running play. And there's just no one right. They've got really 4 blockers for Tyus Bowser in this initial wave of Ravens. But once this happens, obviously you'll have other guys coming up. But Jedrick Wills is going to help out Bitonio here, trying to seal the edge and to make this hole. He's working against Calais Campbell, and he makes a hole right here. I mean, this is a pretty good hole for Chubb, and he just got to hit it. And Ravens got to try to take that hole away as fast as they can. Well, we'll see. As now Chubb is getting ready to, because this is a stretch play, it does take time to develop just a little bit because he's running laterally before he starts running north-south, running up, makes his cut up the field. Here's the cut, trying to get up the field. Hole starting to close at this back end. What's happening? Well, it's Tyus Bowser. Tyus Bowser versus Harrison Bryant. Let's take it just a step earlier. These two squaring off, and Bowser just getting the best of Bryant. And at the last second, Bryant standing firm. Again, right over there. So Bryant standing firm, but Bowser gets free. And if Bryant does enough to make it not be a negative play, he does not do enough to stop the tackle there. And then on the other side, you got Calais Campbell. Again, Wills, I should say, and Bitonio initially were right here. Calais Campbell. we're going to be. It was just a quick. Oh, I skipped just a little bit too far. You saw that shove there by Wills on Campbell to create just a little bit of space, and now Batonio has him, but Campbell just keeps on fighting, keeps on pushing Batonio to the outside, and Batonio's not winning. Campbell just keeps on pushing him. And then what with Bowser and Batonio both collapsing in on that hole, and those are the guys who end up making the stop. Let's see. Anything else of note on this play? See the rest of. I mean, Chuck. I mean, it was a 3-yard play. Let's see what happens with Chuck Clark here. Clark block. Oh, look at that blocking job by Njoku. Taking Chuck Clark out of the play. Patrick Queen. What happens to him? Oop, he took a bad angle. And we'll slow this one down right here. Nope, a little bit too late. This slow. Look at Patrick Queen, Ravens rookie middle linebacker. He thinks the cut's there, and he cuts himself out of the play. Ravens lucky. If it wasn't for Bowser and Campbell, this play could still be going a lot farther, just because look how far back Deshaun Elliott is. Because Queens took that wrong cut, it opened up a lot of space, which the Browns were unable to exploit. Only a gain of 3. Let's just watch this one last time. Let's go from the top. You only watched it once here. You see Landry just taking Marcus Peters out at the bottom of the screen. Go back, because that's right here. And then no one's really moving the line of scrimmage. No one's dominantly asserted themselves in that play. It's kind of like I don't know, a 3-yard play. Who wins, who loses, it's tough to tell. It's not a real win for either side. Obviously, Brown's getting yardage. You need to get more than 3 yards on a running play. And Ravens need to allow less than 3 on the running play. It's kind of that neutral ground where either side's like, okay, we can deal with it. So now Browns in a 2nd down and 7. And here we go right again, right off the bat. A 3-yard run, Nick Chubb. And back-to-back 3-yard runs. And again, it is Tyus Bowser on the stop. And let's take a step back, because this one, they quick snapped it. So a little bit of different personnel here. You got a fullback in, Andy Janovich. He's in this is called the offset eye strong side. You've got a tight end here. So it's 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 21 personnel, then 2 receivers. As Rashard Higgins checks back in. So what is going to happen? Right. So, and then Ravens still in that base defense. And let's go to this view where we'll switch it to slow and just take a look. Again, similar concept. You see these running, they want to keep on going outside. Pretty much the same concept as last time, just a little bit of a different blocking scheme. So you've got a fullback instead of a tight end. And who's the guy mate with an initial penetration? None other than Calais Campbell here. Let's watch Campbell. He's being double teamed by Batonio and Wills, I should say. But he fights him off. I mean, being double teamed and fights through it. I mean, you see, he initially created initially created that gap. Campbell gets through it though. Fights through a line of scrimmage. If you remember, is at the 42-yard line. So Chubb's right around at the 41.5. Now at the 42. Campbell misses. Or gets a hand on him. Great effort. But Tyus Bowser, he was being blocked by David Njoku. Let's take a step back here. Tyus Bowser, number 54. David Njoku, number 85. And Bowser initially wanted to cut in, didn't. He saw it was a stretch play, so kept on coming out. And then just fighting here. And then tripping up Nick Chubb, who falls forward to the 45 for a bunch. For really another 3 yards. Okay, this is annoying me. My mouse. So, what else happens? Again, neither side winning the line of scrimmage. See, okay, this time Queen makes again, he still cuts in too early. He's still cutting in just a little bit too early. Had the safety get blocked up. I saw. Here's Deshaun Elliott. Nope. Again, Andy Janovich. That's not a matchup you want if you're Elliott. He gets free at the end to help finish the tackle. And then good blocking by Landry and Humphrey. And here's something we're going to talk about just a little bit for a second. This will be one of the tangents. It'll probably be a tangent. It could be I make every episode. We'll see. There's two types of linebackers. You've got your outside linebackers, and you've got, let's go for square shapes, inside. Those are your 4 linebackers on a given play. So you've got you've got your inside linebackers. Let's switch to the mouse here. They're going to be, you'll normally see them drop back. Every now and then they'll blitz. They'll also have coverage responsibilities a lot of time on the running back. Now you've got outside linebackers, and there are 2 types of outside linebackers. There's Sam outside linebackers, and there are rush outside linebackers. Sam outside linebackers are guys who can drop into coverage and we'll take a tight end with every now and then a running back. So, and then the rush linebackers who do not. Jihad Ward is a rush. He will not drop into coverage. Tyus Bowser is a Sam. Matthew Judon, he's a Sam. You'll see him drop into coverage a lot. Pernell McPhee is a rush. Jalen Ferguson is a rush. And so you see Bowser's lined up here on Njoku because he's that Sam. And then Jihad Ward coming on this weak side, again, ignored just because how wide he is. And it was the same last play. If you remember, it was Pernell McPhee in this spot. Again, he's the rush. He's not going to be lined up against a tight end all that often. And if he is, they'll normally, maybe he's the safety, he'll be in coverage. So that is a quick tangent. Let's clear the screen. Watch this one more time and move on to 3rd down and 4. Campbell getting close on that tackle, not doing it, not able to get there initially though. Initially he was beaten, but Campbell kept on fighting through and does a great job of forcing his way in at the end. So next up, 3rd down and 4. And I'll be honest, I thought this would go just a little bit quicker, but it's not. We'll see. We might have to make these episodes either a little shorter or longer than I initially thought, depending on how this all goes. All right, first 3rd down play of this game. Kareem Hunt, he'll check in. He's a pass-catching running back. Okay, 3 wide receiver set. 1, 2, 3. Landry again in that slot, and Njoku's the tight end. Screen again. Kareem Hunt getting up that sideline, picking up the 1st down. And now that we see what happens on the play, let's take a better look. 11 personnel Ravens here. They're going to the nickel. They'll bring in a 3rd cornerback. Looks like that's Jimmy Smith covering Rashard Higgins. And then you've got Peters on Peoples-Jones and Humphrey on Landry, and then you got a safety here. You see, Judon's going to be coming in. He's a Sam backer, but he's coming in on this one. So Njoku will be guarded here by Chuck Clark. And Sean Elliott is that deep safety. Ravens, they love blitzing on 3rd down. They'll bring the blitz here. You'll see, let's switch to this view. It's Chris Borden in that middle, number 49. And right off the snap, he's coming. So Ravens, they bring 5. Well, how do you beat the blitz? You throw the screen. Look how, Chubb's just, that's Kareem Hunt is just by everyone. And they're just going to be able to do this a lot of the game just because the Ravens blitz so much. You'll see Ngakwe, look, him get around Wills. Is that a bit of a hole in the back end? I don't know. It doesn't look too bad. Again, Chris Board recognizing it just a little bit too late that it's a screen, like the first screen. As at this point he's committed to the quarterback, and he'll then cuts back. But Batonio and J.C. Treader going out in front to block. They're going to need to block Tyus Bowser. As you see, Bowser, where's he initially lined up? He's lined up like he's blitzing, and Board is not. But they'll invert their roles here. And Bowser's going to try to get out and get Hunt, but Batonio makes a pseudo block to keep him off. Look, he's got him. He's got him dead to rights before the first down, but nope. Unable to make the tackle there. Again, he's like the last. I mean, honestly, it's a tackle he'll make a bunch of times. Kareem Hunt's a tough guy to tackle, though. You gotta hope that he makes a tackle more often, though. So Chuck Clark racing over from guarding David Njoku. So the reason that he was able to actually do this, so Clark was able to really help, is Njoku's running an over. And so obviously Njoku's meant to be blocking, but Clark just sees what's happening and cuts to the ball. And there to make the stop. So another thing I want to point out here. Look where Jihad Ward's lined up. He's an outside linebacker. He's not lined up out here where he was last time where Matthew Judon's lined up. He's lined up more inside. And we'll be talking about this again throughout all these episodes. But versatility, it is a key factor of the Ravens defense. A very, very critical factor. And we're going to see it really highlighted throughout this game. Marlon Humphrey, remember, he can play outside. He can also play in the slot. Jihad Ward lining up inside. And what the versatility allows the Ravens to do is it allows Wink Martindale to say, okay, I can come up with creative blitz schemes that you don't know who's coming. I can, again, you think Bowser's coming, you're going to say, okay, you're I mean, it's not a passing play here. So it's not about who's blocking who, it's almost about who's not blocking who. But you think Bowser's coming, in a normal situation, I guess you would say Conklin, you've got Judon. Teller, you've got Ward. I guess J.C. Treader, you'll take. J.C. Treader, you'd probably take Bowser. Batonio probably slides over and takes, looks like that's Derek Wolfe. And then Wills, you've got Ngakwe, and Hunt's probably bouncing out of there, staying into block, whichever it is. But, okay, so you've got, normally, you would, so in this situation, you would have J.C. Treader moving over. Let's get these arrows back up and we're working. J.C. Treader would normally move there to block him, but the issue would be is Board's coming on this side in this A gap, and you've got this matchup, again, 2-on-1 on Batonio. That's what this versatility allows Wink Martindale to do, and that's what you're going to be seeing a lot of. It's a Mayfield, he's still learning, he's still figuring out how to figure out about who's blitzing. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he struggled against the Wink Martindale blitz. It's not easy to figure out who's coming. He does a very good job of hiding, and you'll see this in more clear passing downs later on in the game. It's hard to figure out who's coming. It's hard to figure out who's protecting who, and teams do a great job of it. But just it's tough to do it enough, because it's the one time you don't, or the one player you don't get. You can get every player, but you can get 4 or 5 out of the 6 out of the 7, 4 out of the 5 guys. Right, but it's the guy you get wrong, which ends up making the impact on the play. So you see Hunt faking like he's blocking for a second, or faking like this is that classic passing play, and then he just scoots out, and it is a screen for a 10-yard pickup. Great tackle by Chuck Clark, and just a good job at the back end, just stepping away. J.C. Treader trying to get up there and block him. Clark saying, I don't think so. I'm just going to run right by you. 14 yards after the catch, a 10-yard pickup, a first down. Let's watch it one more time. Donovan Peoples-Jones coming in motion right off. Okay, so what do you know? It's man. Here's the blitz. Man coverage on this backside here. And unlike the first screen where they use verticals to take guys out of the play, verticals here, verticals there, but Njoku doesn't run a vertical. And his job, he was guarded by Chuck Clark. Clark able to make the stop on the back end. And we'll watch this. Oh, where was Peoples-Jones lined up? Look where he was initially lined up. Lined up in the backfield, shot to the left of Mayfield. That is not. And you see Marlon Humphrey lined up guarding him there, but that's not where you'll normally see a wide receiver line up. So that's something which maybe you'll do initially. So you, as an offensive coordinator, you see, okay, when I put a receiver in the backfield, how are the Ravens going to try to match up against me on that? And You just pocket that for later play in the game. Okay, so if we do this, if I put a wide receiver in the backfield, I know how they're going to line up. Do I like that, the way they line up like that, or do I not like the way they line up on that? So there's some part of the mind games that go into this sport. Strong tackle by Clark. And let's go on to the next play, where it will be 1st down and 10 for the Browns. And you know what? I think we're going to actually call this episode right here. I was hoping I'd be able to do 10 plays an episode. You know what? I prefer to do them more thoroughly than trying to rush them. I think this is probably a good place to stop, and then we'll finish the drive in the next episode. Thank you for watching this video. Check out the next episode. If you're watching this live, you can check that out on Sportscaster. Will be up sometime. It should be up sometime the next day from when I'm streaming. If you're watching on YouTube or Sportscaster after the fact, well, you'll know where. I mean, it'll be the next video that I do. Additionally, please check out my podcast. Again, Sports with Yosef, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That is Sports with Yosef. Check out all my articles: Flurry Sports, Tackler, Sportscaster News, Rocky and Meisty, a whole bunch of great sites, a lot of great articles, and I know a lot of content. And then, to make it easy for you, I created the website, yosefm613.com. YOSEFM613.com, where you can subscribe to get email updates every time I post new content. It has all my articles, all of my podcasts, a whole bunch of this videos, and this video series is on the website in the video tab, if you take a look there as well. So make sure you check all of that out. So through one episode, we've seen a couple of screenplays here from the Browns. They've gone to the screen, a couple 3-yard runs by Nick Chubb. We're kind of seeing where they want to go here. Again, play action almost every play. Was there play action on this play, on the last play? I don't remember. But a lot of play action, a lot of screens. The number 2 rushing attack. Well, Ravens doing a nice job of stopping that early on. You hold a team to 3 yards on 3 plays, that you're going to force a 4th down. And that's just a nice job there by the Ravens defense. But on the screens, they're getting gashed. 30 yards combined on the 2 screen plays, one by David Njoku, one by Kareem Hunt. So Browns driving. 12:23 to go in the first quarter in Cleveland, Ohio. Scoreless opening drive. This has been the inaugural episode of this Ravens-Browns deep dive. Thanks for watching. Next episode, make sure you check it out, and I'll see you there.